Hello, this is Community Unity Now, the D Tycoon Show. This is Bill Morton, President of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, and I am Trudy Leong, Administrator of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. Today, we will be discussing how to be a better voter in an election.
There are a lot of aspects of voting. Of course, you know that your vote is your voice and your voice is your choice. And people have different preferences. People have different friends that they vote for, that they know personally. And people are influenced by propaganda as well.
Mm-hmm. In addition to when you're in the voting booth and you have to vote everything correctly, filling the ovals, don't fill outside the oval. Don't fill too little of the oval. And don't mark the ballot. There's a lot of other things that you have to consider as well.
And you have to get out the vote. We're going to different subjects here, but you have to get out the vote. Not just candidates, but get your friends, get your family out to vote. If they can vote, get them out to vote, especially in the state of Illinois.
Even your neighbors, too. If you have, let's say you live in a building, and then you have 100 neighbors. When you run into them on the staircase or in the elevator, hi, how are you doing? Have you voted yet? You could eventually make it very comfortable to get that into part of your regular conversation starters, because voting is important. And if you feel that it's important, it will become part of you. It will be very comfortable for you to talk about it.
And you can make it a cool thing, too. Like I walk around my neighborhood of Rogers Park, and I see somebody across the street, and I recognize, hey, Bill, hey, did you vote? I see someone I don't know, hey, did you vote? Mm-hmm. And I see somebody who's very young. Are you 18? Did you vote? Are you going to vote?
Mm-hmm. Actually, people at first they might be uncomfortable with it, but some people they're very adamant about it, and they're very happy that people will want to discuss that, and that will also create a ripple effect. You meet an responsible voter, and then that voter will realize that, oh yeah, it's a cool thing to discuss voting, to encourage friends and family to vote. So by you asking an acquaintance, a family member, and talking about voting, that encourages that person to spread the word.
Correct. Now there's a lot going on with the election judges, with the voting process. And Trudy and I are both election judges, longtime election judges.
Mm-hmm. And we just completed our training, and we asked questions when we had issues come up during elections that we didn't understand at the time. So we got some very important answers.
Right. We went over to Block 37, and we got our training like we always do. Before we had our training over at 69 West Washington back in the day. I'm a former elections clerk, and so for Cook County I worked under David Orr, the county clerk, and so I have experience with that as well. That's a different aspect altogether. Where you're actually tallying the votes. You have two different tapes, and then you have one person across the table, and I have a tape like this, and you have a tape like yours, and I read mine, and you go, okay. And then you read yours, and then next one, okay. And we check our tapes to make sure they match.
Oh, that sounds like what we did when we were election judges for the local school councils. There were a couple of us. Bill was at one school being an election judge, and I was in another one. And so what we did was each one of us had tally sheets, and then we would take turns reading the results, and then each of us would tally up what we heard. And at the end, not at the end, we would make sure that about maybe every 5 votes or so, we would check the election judges, see if everybody has the same tally. If not, then we could start over at the point where we left off, so that we don't lose our spot. I would.
So there are many positions. If you're interested in elections, you can get paid and work at Cook County or the City of Chicago at 69 West Washington. Go apply. Get that job. You need to get a job? Get that job. There will always be elections.
It's a very fulfilling job, even though the hours are long, 15 hours on election day, but it is very fulfilling, especially if you are civic-minded. That question, that one of the questions that we mentioned earlier that got answered was that people are not allowed to vote for someone else. Let's say maybe someone went into the precinct, the polling place, and then he or she would say that, oh, I'm here to vote for my spouse. My spouse cannot be here. Oh, you cannot do that.
We had an instance where an alderman, a former alderman in the 49th ward, came in and said, I'm here, I'm going to vote for myself and I'm going to vote for my wife. That is not acceptable. That's illegal.
Mm-hmm. So we asked the question, and our trainers informed us, no, you cannot do that. Let's get to some of this propaganda. There is a lot of mailers about the elected school board, because in Chicago we have an elected school board coming up, and then there is always in every election, no matter what election, there is a lot of
these mailers. These big political mailers that come through. Now some of them are endorsed by INCS, Action Independent Committee, which is
the PAC for the charter schools,
and others are by the Democratic Party,
and others are probably for CPS. Mm-hmm. There's always the opposing views, and we would suggest to not pay any attention to these mailers, because you do not know the facts behind what they are saying. Unless you have the proof right in front of you. Anybody could say anything, and then there are always special interests, and then how do you know that everything is transparent enough for you to understand, and that what is actually being said in these mailers is true?
Paid for by Maggie for Chicago Schools. And this one says, let's see, Bruce has taken 0 campaign contributions, paid for by Bruce Leong for Education Chicago, right here. So they're paid by all kinds of different political organizations and PACs, and it's really interesting when you follow the money. Why don't you tell them how you follow the money?
Well, we try to follow the money by looking into campaign disclosures. The Illinois State Board of Elections requires candidates to file their quarterly reports every 3 months. So at the end of March, by April 10th, the committee has to file their report about their expenditures, their receipts. Expenditures is what they spent. Receipts are what they received from donors or they contributed to themselves. And then also miscellaneous too. But those are required every 3 months. And then Illinois Sunshine publishes those so that everybody could more easily access them to read who is donating to whom.
So you can go to the Board of Elections, whichever Board of Elections it is. Usually it's the Chicago Board of Elections for us, and you can request the information. They have from the filings, and you can also see it online, and you can also use Illinois Sunshine. This one is paid for by Chicago Teachers Union Local 1 PAC. Got one here, and then we have another one that's got this little puppet guy. He's on a puppet string, and it looks like a negative mailer, and it's paid for by Chicago Working Families. Now, these were all sent to Trudy and I. All of these. Like, there's so many of them, and we found them interesting. We always find them interesting, and you know what? I always keep these. Mm-hmm. I have folders of these because I think they're interesting to see how they change over the years and which ones are actually repeats.
Mm-hmm. wordage is interesting too, and the fonts. Some of them even have a cartoon font.
Here you go, right here. This is like a cartoon. It may be a little bit hard to see here. I'm sure it is, but this is Ebony DeBerry, Democrat fighting for a better future for Chicago's students. And it's like she's in bubbles, and she's got like thought bubbles above her, and she's got like a cartoon comic kind of font. So attention getting.
Mm-hmm. So you could go into that, try to find who their donors are, and then go to those organizations. You see the donors and what they stand for, and then you could rest assured that if those candidates get elected, they will be voting in the interest of those who donated to them.
For sure, and some of these will really get pretty nasty. This one says. This is what it says, it's not what I'm saying. It says, Mayor Johnson's political agenda is causing chaos in our public schools, not to mention massive debt and property tax increases. Say no to school board candidate Ebony DeBerry. She will cause massive debt and tax increases for us all. And they'll put the mayor in like this make them look like the devil or a demon or something. They will do that. They'll put you in the worst light possible with these negative attacks, and they'll say things that may not be true.
They're called hit pieces, and they have professionals working on hit pieces. They might even have come out of film school, marketing school, to pull their talent so that they make the most effective pitch. Because a lot of people, they just assume that everything they read is true.
And like I said with this one, Donald Trump and out-of-state billionaires are pulling the strings, and you've got this guy who's getting his strings pulled by this, and it's a white guy in a shirt like mine, and he's pulling the strings of this guy in a suit with no face and a red tie. So they're going to and a very unflattering picture of what. Who is this?
Bruce Leong?
Bruce Leong here. And it's all like someone stepped on a Polaroid or something. They'll make the candidates look as bad as possible to convince people to not vote for them.
You have to do your own research. If you want to be a responsible voter, you have to do your own research and see who is donating and what those donors stand for. So
let's go over to these over here. We got these ones about alderperson Maria Haddon, the 49th Ward, our alderperson. You know what? I'll let you just go off on this. Go ahead. Tell us about these.
Well, these
about the situation first.
Okay. Well, Maria is the head of the environmental committee in City Hall, in City Council, and she advocated for getting rid of natural gas in favor of electricity. So I think is it the Plumbers Union? The Plumbers Union does a lot of work installing gas lines too, I think. Not gas line per se, but the boilers that connect to gas lines, and then they get a lot of work from that, I guess. So
if there was not to be gas, people's gas and gas ovens and gas heaters, I guess, and such, then this union would lose a lot of work and jobs. Mm-hmm. And so they put in a lot of money for these hit pieces on our Alderwoman Maria Haddon.
Mm-hmm. And it's not even the election yet.
It's not even the election. Let me take another look at these real quick.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay. So they're saying that she supports giving greedy utilities a monopoly on how we heat our homes. Just so you know, this particular issue is, the head of this issue is the Illinois Commerce Commission. And they're the ones who really do make the decision. Is that true? Or would it be City Council? Because they're going after Alderwoman Haddon here.
For the rates, for the utility rates, it would be the Illinois Commerce Commission. Whenever a utility wants an increase in the rates that they charge the residents, they have to go to the Illinois Commerce Commission and present their case. Why? And then Consumer Utilities Board, CUB, is always fighting against whatever they present, whatever the utilities present. But usually, the Illinois Commerce Commission allows those rates.
I can recall a story. We were over at Northeastern Illinois University, and we had the Illinois Commerce Commission event over there, and they did their presentations. The Commerce Commission controls things like your internet, your gas, your electricity, and your water, I believe, and all of these utilities. They're in charge of the billing of these utilities. So we all had an opportunity to go to the microphone after they said their piece, and I asked Commissioner Chuy Garcia, who was the president of the Illinois Commerce Commission at the moment, and I asked him, President Garcia, what are you doing? What are you all doing to help lower the rates of these utilities for the hardworking people of the state of Illinois? And I pretty much got laughed off the stage, and I was very offended by that. Not personally offended. I was offended for our people, because I was asking, how can we have more affordable utility rates for people who are working class and working hard and got to pay the bills, got to feed the family, got to have transportation, have education, and it just kind of hit me funny, because if you're an elected official, is my belief, you should be held accountable to the people who are your constituents, and you should do the best by them. So that's what my story is.
Mm-hmm. And the Illinois Commerce Commission, I think all the members might be appointed by the governor.
And that was Governor Rohner at the time?
I think so.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's lighten this up. We've been getting a little dark here. Oh, okay.
For the judges, we have interviewed a lot of judges and let them explain what they stand for, and then inquire about what the judicial branch does for us. So that really helped a lot about while we're voters, when they come into the polls, they were asking, now I want to vote the judicial ballot, that's important. Whereas before, that never happened. As a matter of fact, years and years go by, and every time a voter comes in and they say, I'm not going to vote for the judicial ballot, it's too much, I don't know those people. So we try to help our audience get to know some of them, because we invited many of them, but not all of them responded.
We've invited all of them, all the judges we possibly could get over to be guests on our show here, so that you're more informed as to who the judges are, so that you can make a more informed decision as to who you want to choose.
And I think, Bill, that our viewers understand a lot more what the judicial branch does as well. There's more to the judicial branch than sitting on the bench.
There is a lot more, and if you want to talk about settlements and other things like that, it's really educational. And if you're ever in a situation where you have to stand before a judge, or if you're going to do, be a part of that process in any way, you want to go to YouTube and try to find our videos, because we've had a lot of them, including recent interviews with Justice Joy Cunningham.
Yes. She explained to us the importance of the judicial branch in making the rules for the courtroom as well. It's just like any other branch of government. That branch has their own rules, their committees to make the rules, so that the branch operates more efficiently. However, it's, you do need to keep your eyes open to the news oftentimes, because you will maybe hear about rulings from some judges, and then who knows if those judges might be on the ballot.
Example. In Rogers Park, there was a man who was shot in the back at the Morse Red Line station very recently. And he was known for robbing people on the red line. And also, he was more infamously known for stealing the wallet off of an elderly man, who fell down the Loyola Red Line stairs, and we just left him for dead after he stole his wallet. Didn't even call anyone for help. So anyway, the judge let him out, and he did more things, and the judge let him out. So that judge, I would not suggest voting for. I don't want to have that judge as a judge any longer. So you need to look at these. There's a list of judges, which I don't know if you can see, but there's a whole long list of judges. We're going to have, at least in the city of Chicago, 2 ballots, 2 separate sheets, because there's so much going on with this upcoming election. And I suggest you look up, if you can look up one of these judges and see if there's any news about this judge released this person and they repeated it again, and this judge let them out again and they repeated it again. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. And
there are organizations that help voters vote as well, such as voteforjudges.com and then Injustice Watch. However, we are going to be doing our research to find out who again was that judge, and then see what the reviewers had to say about that judge. Maybe they had a bad review from the start, but who knows? You have to do your research. You have to be a responsible voter.
So I just, we only have a little time left. We got this letter from Joe Moore, and he's the former 49th Ward Alderman, and he sent us this letter here. And we don't have enough time to read the whole thing, and I would if we did, but I'll just encapsulate here.
Go ahead.
Dear neighbor, and this is all typed up, no actual signature, nothing with the signature, from Joe Moore Strategies, LLC. Dear neighbor, for the first time in Chicago's history, voters will cast their ballots for representatives on the Chicago School Board. I urge you to vote for Bruce Leong for School Board District 2. Now, this is Joe Moore. This isn't me. And he goes on and on to say Bruce is a 5th-generation Chicagoan. Bruce will bring Chicago Board to financial acumen and independence from City Hall that our schools so desperately need, and so on and so forth. So this is another piece, just like this hit piece, or just like this promo piece for Bruce Leong that you'll get in the mail. Sometimes they'll be disguised as an actual letter to you, and sometimes they'll just be like printouts, not actually signed or handwritten at all.
Be a responsible voter. Do your research. Do not be swayed by mailers, because you do not know the actual facts. Do as much research as you can, and then go out and vote. Always, you have to go out and vote, and encourage your friends and family to vote, because your vote is important.
Your vote is your voice, and your voice matters. And go encourage your friends and family to get out the vote. It's the most important thing you can do today.
And always, through the years, in the future, always be a responsible voter. This is Bill Morton, President of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. I am Trudy Leong, Administrator of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. This has been Community Unity Now, the D Tycoon Show. Have a great week, and we'll see you again next week.